This is just a topic I needed to discuss for a few reasons. But before I get into the topic, I just want to specify that this is not all-inclusive. And what I mean by that is that it's more of a 101. More of a, this is what you will likely encounter. This is how you can likely handle it. This is not a deep dive. Maybe I'll do that some other time. I don't know. It's not my favorite topic. I don't think it's anybody's favorite topic. But yeah, I just felt the need to discuss slaying our demons, or demon slaying, however you want to call it. I have to get into explaining a little bit the difference between 3D, 5D. And the best example I could think of to use, I didn't go out and draw little pictures specifically for the topic and blah, 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 but I just wanted to cover it quickly. So this is your normal 3D world. Anything tangible, concrete, things like that. I think we all understand what 3D is. I think where people get confused is what 5D is. 5D is where you have everything that you've got in 3D, but on top of it, you see a spiritual layer. It's living your life being aware that there's spirituality at play as well. In a 3D world, this is what you see, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Beautiful scenery. When you are living in a 5D world, which is still the same world, you've got this extra layer on top where all of a sudden you see extra that other people wouldn't see. So it's a different viewpoint. For example, animals who see things one color, whereas humans see things a different color, doesn't mean that one is wrong, one is right. It just means they're both viewing the same world through different eyes. A 5D reality would be being aware that spirituality is all around you, and it's a world that's also full of symbolism, and I don't think people talk about this enough. Not to say that what you see isn't real, because that is not what I'm saying. What you see is very real, but how you see it is your observation versus how someone else sees it. So I'm going to give my own example, which is why I even brought up this topic to begin with. So for about a week and a half, you know what, I'm going to guess probably full moon, because that's when people do their thing. So probably around the full moon, I started having a dream that someone was coming up to me and tenderly opening my mouth and feeding me. And it was very loving, very caring, just feeding me. And then they'd hug me. Like the sentiment seemed like it was coming from a loving place. That's what it seemed. But something about it didn't sit right with me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. But I just kind of like, oh, whatever, it's just a dream. It kept happening. I kept having the same dream again and again, and each day it'd get a little longer, a little more feeding me more every day, being more loving every day. And I was thinking, like, this could be symbolism, but there's something about it that just doesn't seem right. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. And then, I think it was a few days ago, in the dream, I kind of pulled away a little from the scene. I walked away just enough that when I turned around and looked, I saw that I was handcuffed to the wall. When I was experiencing it close up, it seemed like a loving, feeding, taking care of me type thing. But this was against my will. Whatever was going on was against my will. And that's not a good sign. That right there is a prime example of what people would call a demon, because that's what it is. It's forcing you to do something. Now you can argue, wait, I thought demons would make you feel fear or evil, etc. Well, here's the thing. They get to you by giving you what you want. I've done a lot of work in my life to deal with my shadow, a lot of work on my wounds, on things that need to heal. And I've healed a lot given what I've been handed in life, but I most definitely have not healed everything. So I have a deep mother wound. I do not have a good relationship with my mother. I won't get into all details, but the point is, it's an open wound for me still. Talking in the 5D, these demons find those weaknesses you have, find those wounds you have, and attach to you, usually by giving you what you want, right? So with a mother wound, you want to be taken care of. You want to be loved. And that's exactly what this was doing. It wasn't fear. And that's how they move in and attach themselves. And I am well aware of it now. I'm aware it exists. Luckily, it's still early on, because if I let this go further, it gets worse and worse and worse. And quite honestly, I'm thankful. I know that this was a spiritual attack. It wasn't like my mother wound is so huge that I created this, which definitely does happen. Although the intent came from negativity, spiritual law will take care of that. That I have nothing to do with that. On my end, I am thankful that I am now aware that my mother wound is still so bad that I can be that easily tempted by something. So now I know I have to spend some time working on my shadow, and this way it'll be that much harder to get to me. That translates on both levels. So to go back to the whole 3D, 5D example, let's say you have issues that you don't deal with because you run away from your problems and you don't deal with it. The problem itself gets worse. Your handling of the problem gets worse. The way you see other people handling the problem gets worse. You get angry at other people who don't know how to handle it because you don't know how to handle it, or you've handled it improperly. So you get angry at other people, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. That's a 3D perspective. In a 5D perspective, the demon comes in and says, oh, I know what you want. You want to forget your problems. So let's help you forget your problems. How about you try drinking? Drinking will help you forget for a little while. That's good enough, right? And then you get worse and worse and worse because you're not dealing with the problem and you're not dealing with your emotions around it. So now you still have the original issue, but you're also drinking on top of it. Now you got a whole bunch of other problems. And in a 5D world, we can see that this is some sort of entity that it becomes so strong, some sort of negativity inside you that becomes so strong it takes over. I want to specify here that neither one is wrong, okay? The 3D world is not wrong. The 5D world is not wrong. The viewpoint that it is a demon is not wrong, because if you're in that world, you actually do see it. How the problem has taken on its own life and is now taking over. Different ways of viewing the world, and both have the same solution. Work on healing your problems. And it could take a lifetime to do this. I am in no way saying that, poof, it's overnight, because it's hard work. But this is why it has to be done, because now those entities don't have anything to hold on to. They don't have a place to grow. They don't have your energy to use. So now that I know my wound is still open, I'm not going to give it fear. I'm going to realize I caught it early. I realize what it's all about. Now I'm going to take steps to further heal this. Now, like I said, this was a 101. There's definitely other types of demons, but this is kind of your basic. This is really how you want to start. You want to start by healing your wounds. And if you do have an entity, you need to figure out what weakness did it find in you that you need to heal, and then heal it. Not that simple, I know. You don't want it to overtake you. And I find that in the 5D world, you reach the point of realizing that it's a problem you have to resolve quicker than in the 3D world. In the 3D world, you don't notice the little, oh, I'm having a dream of someone taking care of me. That's nice, you know, and you just let it go. In the 5D world, you're like, nope, something's wrong. So usually you discover before it overtakes you and you wind up in hospitals, in all, yeah, I don't need to go into, all the bad places you can go. Oh, the places you will go when you don't heal properly. Seriously, don't fear it. You should only fear it if you've let it go too far. And then, even then, you shouldn't fear it, but I understand it's a little hard not to fear it when it's gone too far. There's a reason they say face your demons, right? Heal your wounds. So, yeah. Have a good night.